Daphne Chickloski.
Chickloski.
Chickloski. Yeah, okay. So this is Daphne, and I've come across her through a mutual acquaintance, Sean McCarthy, who she did some work for, and she's an artist. So she's the first artist I've ever talked to in in my past 58 years of life, ever.
Awesome. Okay.
You know, in any manner.
Okay.
Right?
Wonderful.
So I don't know anything about it.
Great.
You can assume I know nothing. It's gonna be absolutely perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna. She's a good old Miramichi here. We're gonna find out where she grew up and parents and all of that, and you know how many times she got arrested or whatever she wants to talk about. We're just gonna talk about it, or we're gonna let it go.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what decade were you born in?
Okay. So I was born in 1984.
Okay. You're younger. You look younger than that.
I get told that a lot. I keep on getting carded at liquor stores. It's getting a little annoying
Yeah,
at
but
this time,
you know,
but it's really hard to complain.
It's not a bad kind of compliment.
It's not too bad. I'm okay with that.
I get carded only because they want to know if I have a seniors discount in some students.
I can't wait for that. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
If I can get discounts off of stuff right now, I think that's
You do?
wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. But I keep on looking too darn young. Shoot.
Well, you know, we all got problems.
Right? We're with a horrible problem
If you're
now.
going to have a problem being young
Being
looking,
too young. Yeah.
it's not a bad
It's
one
not
to
the
have.
worst. No.
Okay?
Okay.
Don't worry about that. 84.
84.
What area of the river did you grow up on?
So I'm from Renews.
We're not going to hold that against you. Okay?
Listen, I am a proud Renewser. I liked growing up on my dirt road with one neighbor. It was great.
I know a Renewser up there. I know her in college. Well, she went to St. Thomas, and I showed up at St. Thomas. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So, one of the other things. Anyway, Luann Hogan.
Yes. I know
Okay.
who man. Yep. I know who that is. I know who that is. Yep.
And I see her once in a while now at the jam at Thursday nights at the fire hall.
Yep.
Or the folk
Or the folklore park.
Or, yes.
Yep.
As it's now called. Yeah, next to the fire hall, the new one.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm Renewser.
I am a Renewser.
And I grew up in Nelson, which is born, bred Irish, and so is Renews.
Yep. A little bit of Irish, a little bit of Scottish, a couple
Little
other little
Scottish.
things in there.
Yeah.
I mean, my original family name is Kolpa, so a little bit of German.
Is that German?
Yep. I mean, I would never call myself a German, but the name is
Yeah,
originally
yeah.
German. Yep.
Do you know what year they come over from the old side?
No. You'd have to ask my father.
Oh,
He would know that kind of stuff, but unfortunately I do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll talk to him sometime.
Absolutely.
So, 84.
Yep.
So you went to high school in Miramichi Valley.
Blackville.
What?
Kindergarten to grade 12. One school the entire
I
time.
suppose it might be closer.
Oh my gosh, just right around the corner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bus came around, picked us up right from K to 12.
Same school.
Same school.
So the students would have all been known by the teacher
Oh yeah.
for good reasons and not good reasons. Right.
Yeah.
So when you were in high school, did you go academic? Did you go industrial? Back then there was industrial. I'm not sure it exists anymore. Did you go home ec or what it is you took in high school?
Well, with Blackville, it kind of going into high school. They kept it pretty like here's your sciences, here's your math, and whatever like that. Like home ec, arts, music, and whatnot. That ended. I think that ended in grade 9 or 10. That didn't carry
Okay.
on.
Okay.
So we didn't have those kind of opportunities in classes. They kept it relatively your basics.
Okay.
So it wasn't until after high school that you could choose to go college or whatever post-secondary education. So now all that shop and everything like that ended at the end of
did it?
middle school. Yeah, which was kind of too bad. Kind of too bad.
Well, we
but-
need tradespeople terribly bad now.
Exactly. I wish that kind of stuff kept on going. You hear about that in the other high schools here, that they have so many more programs all the way through high school.
If I was to do it over again, I would change software programming to likely carpenter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
less stress, and for the bulk of it, more money.
Well, this is it. There's something to be said for going into trades. Like, I don't regret my decisions of what I did after high school in terms of my post-secondary education, but looking at the cost, student loan, debt, things like that, it's kind of like, probably should have thought about it a little bit more, but it was an experience, and it was some great years. So
I found in high school, well, at least where I went to high school, there was no real assessment as to what you were or should go into based on your aptitude or your personality or your wishes or whatever. There wasn't very much of that in high school. You wanted to go in college prep, you do it. You want to do welding, automotive, you do it.
yeah,
You do home economic, you do it. There's very little exploratory work on the child to determine who they are and how they think and what their personality is.
right. Like, it
But
was,
maybe that's changed now. I don't know.
I mean, in the high schools, at least here in Miramichi City, they seem to focus a little bit more on individuality, like those kind of personal interests. Where when I grew up in high school at Blackville, it wasn't quite like that. It was more like, these are your main math, science, English, history, and that's kind of it. There really wasn't
Okay.
classes that were a little bit more unique, you could say. So if you wanted to have a more unique hobby or career or what have you, you kind of had to do that on your own, either outside of classes during high school or just afterwards in college and university. So that's kind of where I did, or what I did.
So you did the basic, you did the math, the English, the history. Did you went down that route?
No, I went right into arts.
Arts? What is arts?
So for some fine art, so like to be more specific, I always liked to draw. I always found that really enjoyable, whether it was going to be like, was I going to be a tattoo artist or an animator or my parents were going, please, no, my gosh. But I didn't really know what specifically I wanted to do with it, but I knew that I wanted to work with my hands. I wanted to do art, I wanted to create. Exactly, I wanted to be.
So from a young age, you were doodling on your math book or whatever.
Oh yes, my teachers did not like it that I would go through my exams as fast as possible and then draw like full dragons and images and fantasy pictures in the back of my exam. So I might be failing math, but my art teachers were very proud. So yeah.
Oh well. So then you graduated
Yep.
high school.
Yep.
What year would that be?
I graduated high school in 2001, 2000. Yeah.
So
2000.
forestry was still going strong then.
If I was to change careers, given what my interests are now, I probably would have liked to go into the forestry industry. I think being like, whether it's like, a warden or a forest ranger or whatever, like something like that, I think that'd be kind of.
Was your dad a forest ranger?
He was a warden.
Game warden.
He was a warden for about 3 years.
Fisheries warden.
Yep.
No?
I think game warden.
Game warden. Okay.
I don't think fishery.
Okay.
But I'd have to ask him. It's been a while. But
Yeah,
he only did that for about 3 years. But he's always worked in the woods almost his entire life, whether it be like cutting and spacing. He was a scout leader for years, so camping and all that stuff. So he was always out there doing that.
I went to ranger school in the mid-'80s. It was a little hard, actually, but I got my full scaler's license in the summer. You started in January and finished up in December. In the summer, I got this full scaler's license. I never went back. I just was in it for the money.
Oh, okay.
But I love the woodlands. I loved the woodlands and the type of work. I mean, some conditions were a bit rough with extreme flies, extreme heat, extreme cold.
It would be the bugs.
It's hard.
Bugs would be tough. Yep.
You're either, the first year, you're either tough enough to take it, but I was in the woods since I could walk and sneak across the road into the woods.
Yep.
So it was not foreign to me. And the first year, I think, if you didn't know it, you would either bear down and get through it, or you'd crash and burn.
Yeah. Well, that was it. Like growing up, like I said, I grew up in Renews on a dirt road. back in the woods. So I mean, our entire childhood was, hey, if it was a nice day, or heck, even if it was raining, get outside. So we grew up with flies and bugs all the time, and I don't remember covering ourselves with bug spray and everything.
I don't think it existed.
We were kind of used to it back then, and I don't think the bugs were bad back then. Or maybe we were kids and we
were
just didn't
young.
care.
We moved so fast and never caught up with
Well, that's just it. We're running around, climbing trees, swimming, biking, going out with the dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't have time to worry about the bugs.
Right.
Yeah.
So you graduated.
Yep.
And how did you choose your education post-secondary?
So knowing that I wanted to go into arts, I looked obviously for what was the closest. I did find out that MBCC here in Miramichi, they had an art program. They had a 3-year program that was first art fundamentals, which basically look at exactly that, whether it was drawing, perspective, life drawing, which is studying human anatomy, color theory, and an introduction to animation. And that would be followed by a 2-year fully animation program. So that's drawing your cartoons and going into.
Back then,
it was pretty cool to find out that we had that in town. So that I thought that was perfect for me. It's close, and it's exactly what I want to do.
Right.
So I applied and I got in. Right. So, but while I was doing my first year, I tried animation. I realized that I didn't like it. I didn't want to draw somebody else's cartoons again and again and again and again to make that move and all that kind of stuff.
You were in cookie cutter business.
Didn't like that at all, but I loved the fine art aspect of it. Like the life drawing, figuring out composition and working with different mixed medias and all that. I was like, this is for me. Now where do I need to go? And that led me to the University of Ottawa. So I went there.
And did a fine arts?
And I got my fine arts degree. Yeah.
University
My Bachelor of Fine Arts at the University of Ottawa.
Really?
Yep.
And your major of study was?
It was, I got my degree in fine art. So basically, I mean, if I'm looking back at it now, I think like you could almost say painting would have been the main one, but it was just a fine arts degree in general. So it looked at photography, it looked at painting, it looked at, some sculpture, art history.
And a lot of it's hands-on.
It was all hands-on back then. I think we had one guy in our class that had a laptop, and that was even weird to see. Everything back then was still hands-on.
So you like the hands-on?
Love it. Traditional media was my way to go. Yep. Painting, drawing, all of it, all hands-on.
Did you do any sculpture kind of stuff?
I did sculpture while I was in college. So at MBCC we did sculpture in there, and that was pretty neat. Not something that I want to actively pursue, but it was fun for what it was. Yeah. Because you could make your little maquettes, whether it was just a character that you wanted to be able to see 3D. So that was especially good for animation. So if you designed Mickey Mouse and you want to know what his head looked like at different angles, you could literally physically move something around and it would help you. Exactly. Before it all went digital. That's what you had.
So when you draw a picture,
Yep.
like I'll ask stupid questions because
Please do.
it's what I do.
Okay.
It has to be in proportion to reality. If you're basing it on reality, is that true?
I mean, it depends on what you're doing. It depends on what kind of artist that you want to be. Like I was, one of my best friends in university, she was an abstract artist. So most of her paintings and imagery would be based on emotion or color or composition, and using, instead of using a paintbrush, she might use a palette knife and she would draw with that or paint with that. So you can go that way. And
What's a palette knife?
Palette knife is basically it almost looks like a garden tool, like a little spade, but really small. And some people use that just to scoop out paint and put it on their boards, but other people will use that as a painting tool, and that will just give you it can give you a straight line, it can give you a rub, a smush, whatever. I never use them, so don't use them.
Okay.
That wasn't my mode. I use the brushes, but yeah, I mean, you can use your hand if you want to. I mean, you can use almost anything that you want. So hers was very expressionistic, where I wanted to go more realistic, but with a fantasy edge. So I was very interested in learning proportions, anatomy, the dramatic lighting, and shading. Like I loved looking at art history to see the old masters and see how they would do dramatic lighting to really make it a piece interesting just by having a bright light here, maybe a reflection, the rest is whatever. So I liked that kind of imagery.
Like the old masters, as you call them, I mean, your Italians or the Low Countries there. I mean, they're just to come up with an idea of even just to do it, let alone do it that well, is amazing.
Yep. I love studying them. I like art. I like history, and I loved art history. I love to learn how big some of their paintings was, or you'd be really shocked when you find out how small. Like the Mona Lisa is like this big. I was always shocked at that. It was a lot smaller than what I thought it would be. Yeah.
Did you go to art museums in Ottawa?
In Ottawa, oh yes. We went to the art museum often because they would have different specialized exhibits every now and then. So they'd bring in your new up-and-coming artist or an old artist, and just a show that would move from museum to museum.
Yeah.
So yes, we went there quite often.
So, okay, so the day you graduated from the University of Ottawa, then what do you do?
Right, and that is the plight of your artist, because as fun as it can be a very difficult industry to get a career in. You know, like they call it a starving artist for a reason. Like here's my bachelor degree in fine art, and I come out and it's like, now what? Exactly. Now what? Unfortunately, I did not get into an art career right away at all. You know, I came home with this degree, but I just got your regular day jobs, but I still did art on the side. So, you know, I might be working as a waitress or something like that, but I would still be doing art in my free time.
So you did what you had to do to pay the bills, but you never lost your passion.
Never lost my passion for it. You know, at the time it was, you know, university, you know, especially back then, was still quite expensive. You know, but I didn't look at it as a waste of time or a waste of money. Being young and dumb, I probably would have saved money a little bit better, paid it off a little bit quicker, but you know, whatever.
Say that about most of us.
Right? You always have those kind of regrets. But I still did art on the side for almost strictly for fun, but I also got to doing commission work at the same time. So whether, you know, our local exhibition would have art shows, and I would always enter almost every category, and I'd win prize money off of that, or people would see it and they would want to buy it. You know, my family, my parents, my sisters and whatnot, they would always tell people, hey, my sister's having a show, everything is for sale, come and check it out. So I would have shows locally in Miramichi as often as I could, whether it be at the library, exhibition, or whatever. So I kept being an active artist as much as I could while going to the day job.
So Beaubears Island has artist weekend or day or whatever it is that you say. You should show some of your art there.
When did they do that? It's the first I'm hearing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So in the summer.
Okay.
Well, keep an eye for it. Now we can know.
Right on.
Because they have, I think they call it Artists on the Island.
Okay.
And they bring over some artists to do some work on the island itself. And so there's different people kind of in the lower southeast section that will paint an eagle and a pine tree or the waterway or whatever it is.
Okay, hang on. Now, is this something that's organized by Beaubears Island?
Yes.
It is. Okay, because I was going to say a couple of years ago, I was part of the Miramichi Art Corps, and we had a painting weekend on Beaubears Island.
That's probably it.
So I wonder if that's the same thing. So maybe it's the same thing. Could be, but I'll have to check it out. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, they have that. They had it last summer anyway. I mean, I'm not an artist, so
that might. Yeah. Okay, that might be it. That might be them again. I was part of that group for a couple of years, and we did that 1 year. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was the same thing.
And then you have, of course, the interpretation center there, and I think for one day maybe there was one, maybe there's more than one, had their paintings on display. So if people wanted to buy them,
Okay.
and the public would view the paintings or their artwork, whatever it is they were doing, and they could buy their artwork.
Wasn't it, when we did it there, it was they had it set up like an auction. They had it like a silent auction where all the artists had their paintings around
Okay.
with their list, and people had so many hours to put a price, and then at the end it was sold off. But they could be doing it differently now, who knows?
Anyway, I'll keep an eye out for you when that happens. So even now, I mean, if you have a spare minute in the evenings, will you still draw? Are you still doing it now just for your own?
I'm an artist full time now.
Oh.
I've made it my career.
Holy crappy-o.
Took me a few years, but yeah, I'm doing it full time. It is my job.
Wow.
Yep, came full circle.
So you must be really, really pleased with that.
Very, extremely. It was quite the journey to get there, but yeah,
Life is a journey.
no kidding. Yeah.
Some of it's high, some of it's low. But so, how do people find you if they want something to be drawn or painted? How did they find out you even exist for the? Well, they will after they see maybe this video, but how do they even find you to know you exist as an artist to give you a commission to do something?
Well, my name's kind of big around here. No, I'm kidding. But no, I'm kidding. Could be. Well, before now, when I was still working, a regular day job first, like I was saying, I was very active in the art community. So when the Miramichi Art Corps, when I discovered that group, I joined right away, and I was part of them for a fair amount of years, eventually becoming, what's the proper, their leader for a little bit. I was in charge of them for a couple of years, and then I stepped out. And so, I mean, that group became known, so we would have, weekly, monthly meetings. We would have shows multiple times around the year in Miramichi. Down on Ritchie's Wharf, we would rent their art gallery space, and we would show our work there all year. So there were ways to find us and hear about us, or me specifically, to answer that question. There were ways to kind of find me around town.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I had my work on Facebook, but this was obviously before, Instagram and all that other stuff. So Facebook was really the only way to kind of find me online. I didn't have a website.
That costs money.
It cost money, and I'm not techie, so I didn't go and do that myself. I made some really, really cheap business cards, and I kept that on me.
Yeah.
I mostly relied on word of mouth, because my family, especially my father, Bernie Kolba, who's very, very into the local scene. People know his name, they hear about me and whatnot like that. So it was a lot of word of mouth.
Okay.
So for now that I'm doing it full time, it's my husband. He's the Chickloski.
Yeah.
He runs his own business. He has his own marketing company. So when he saw me, when he met me, I was working at a gym. I was a personal fitness trainer for about 12 years. So he met me there and saw me doing some drawings and whatnot. He's like, well, that's actually pretty good. Show me what you do. So I showed him my work and showed him my commission work that I'd done here and there, just whatever, getting around on the internet kind of thing. So for our first couple of years together, he was really impressed, and he would kind of give me a few marketing ideas, little business ideas, because he's had years of experience, and he'd help push me every now and then. And then after a while, he was like, he saw my commission list constantly coming in, and my prices going up, and my skill set going up, and he's like, I can help you make this a full-time business if that's what you're interested in. He goes, obviously there's risks being an entrepreneur. But he goes, but if you want to, he goes, I'll show you how to do this. He's like, I will build your website. I will show you how to do social media. He's like, I'll help you make things look professional and fit, so that if you're looking on your phone or a website or Facebook, that everything fits and it's not cropped out. He's like, I will make this look good. And I was like, let's do it. Make me look good. So sure enough, I quit my job, came home.
Brave.
Yeah, it was very scary, not to have a regular paycheck coming in. It was a very big jump for me. It was very scary, but I don't regret it at all. Probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I couldn't be happier, and it's a huge thanks to my husband's ability and support and trusting his expertise when he looks at what I'm doing and wants to give me a couple of suggestions because he's an artist himself. And I'm doing very well.
So you, he's surely has skill and knowledge in what he does. Otherwise,
he's very good. He's very good at what he does.
Right.
Yep. So taking kind of having him as my boss, my mentor, and a big supporter was probably one of the best things I've ever done.
So who decides what you work on? You?
Oh, it's still me. Yeah. Like I reach out to my own clients, I talk to my own clients, I work out my own prices and my projects and whatnot. If I'm stuck with something, like if someone says, hey, I want, let's say I want a fantasy illustration. And they're like, this is my vision I have. Let's just say it's a dragon and it's a castle and it's a river.
Okay.
So I might be designing something and I might be stuck, or I'm just like, it's not dynamic enough, or it's flat, it's boring. So I'll go to my husband, I need a fresh set of eyes. I'm like, look at this, help me. And he goes, oh my gosh, if you move this here and tilt this on an angle, and together sometimes we'll kind of brainstorm. So it's so having him for that second set of eyes is absolutely wonderful. So he helps me a lot, but for the most part I do my art, but he definitely helps me with a fair amount of it.
You ever have arguments about what it is you're doing?
Not necessarily arguments. There's been a few times
Different
where,
viewpoints?
yeah, like I'll be doing something, and it's funny that you ask that because my husband knows me very well. So if I'm getting frustrated with an image, and he'll come look over my shoulder and he'll go, I have a suggestion, would you like to hear it? Sometimes I'll be like, no, I don't want to hear it. And he'll disappear, and then I'll be like, what were you going to say? And he goes, I think you should do it like this. And I said, oh, that's what I was thinking. I didn't like that aspect at all, but scrap that, and I'll do it the way that he suggested. Or we both were actually thinking the same thing, and yes, it looks so much better. And so, arguments, no, but sometimes my own ego is just like, no, I think I know what I'm doing. And he's like, okay. And then I'll be like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. Please forgive me. And then together we'll figure it out.
So are you able to work in your... Are you able to work in your own abode, your own home?
Yeah, we both work from home. So we both have our office.
Separate offices?
No, we have a combined office.
Oh, you must get along really well.
We're best friends.
Really?
As cheesy as that sounds.
Oh my God.
I know. I was never one to, like, when I was in relationships in the past, and I heard other couples say, oh, I married my best friend. I was like,
thought it was just always something somebody made up.
I thought that too. But no, I definitely married my best friend.
Holy jump.
Yeah.
You got the career you wanted,
Yep.
and the man you wanted.
Yep.
What's next? The money? The travel?
We do a little bit of traveling.
Yeah.
We both like to travel when we can, whether it's just like February, he took me to BC. That's where he's from. So
You ever been to BC?